3, 2, 1.
Action.
And action. My name is Al Alvarez, and we're going to take you behind the scenes. Behind the Scenes is a weekly show that'll be right here on Talkwad Studios every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking about independent film and also what it takes to put a film together. We're going to talk about the personnel from the screenwriter all the way through the post-editor and production and everything in between. So tune in every week, and hopefully you'll learn as much as I do, because I'm going to be learning from my guests as well. I can tell you that Talkwad Studios has made it very, very convenient for us to do this show. They've worked with us very well, and we hope that you'll support this station as we do. If you miss one of our shows, you can go to talkwad.com and just scroll down to behind the scenes, and you can see the archives of any one of our shows. This is the second in our first season, so welcome and thank you for tuning in. I have a couple of guests this evening, and I'd like to introduce you to them. On my right here, we have Mr. Rob Starrett. Rob, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me.
Sure.
And I have been in the film business since I was 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's been a good 10 years.
So you're a producer?
I'm a producer. I've been everything from a grip to an electrician to a distributor, you name it. But at the end of the day, what I am very, very good at is producing any kind of multimedia product, but really a specialty in feature films. It's how I grew up in the business, and that's what I love.
So, independent feature films.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Have you worked with any large studios?
Yes.
Okay.
I've pretty much worked with all the studios as a location manager.
Right.
In the union.
That's right. You were in Los Angeles for quite some time.
Yes, about 15 years, and so I definitely have done a number of movies, probably a couple hundred.
Wow.
Again, from every job on set at one point or another, specializing in locations. I've also produced a couple movies when I was out there as well, and when I moved to Florida, I've actually produced a couple movies here and associate produced a couple more.
Wow. Well, I'm an actor, and I haven't gotten a call from you, so.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to straighten that out. Thank you so much. We were talking a little earlier also, and you were telling us about this experience you had as a kid with Star Wars. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, and you used to ride your bike to the theater, right?
When I was, I think I was 10 years old, and it was actually I think I was 9. That was back when your mother could just let you out of the house.
Yeah, sure.
And ring the bell for dinner.
Yeah.
And so we didn't need a babysitter. I rode my bike to the movie theater every day, and I was competing with this kid named Davey. I forget his last name. And we were competing to try to see who could see Star Wars the most.
Right.
At the same time, you'd every once in a while take a break and watch a little James Bond, because Moonraker was out at the same time. And that later evolved into me grabbing an 8mm camera and trying to get the entire neighborhood together for a Star Wars shoot. Of course, that was relatively disastrous.
Well, it sounds like fun, but who played Princess Leia?
It was the redheaded girl with the curly hair.
All right, Charlie Brown. Now, Bob Lever has been a dear friend of my wife Becky and myself for quite some time. We met through Musicians Organization for songwriters and also for performers. And we became fast friends, and I've learned to respect his talents as well as just him as a really good guy. I know for a fact that Bob has gone back and forth to Nashville, and I'd like him to tell you a little bit about these trips, to include some of the production work he's done and also the writing teams that he's worked with. So, Bob, will you share some of that?
Yes, I will. Thank you for having me also.
You're very welcome. Welcome.
It's taking music from the creative base and going back and forth to Nashville was the learning process of how to take the 3 chords and a lie on a guitar and turning it into the production
right.
of of the song. And I've always had the theory, if I can't see the video along with the song, it's not done yet, or the
Sure.
story's not there, because we're trying to do the same thing
Mhm.
as a film, but we're trying to do it in 3 minutes without video.
Sure.
Uh,
Well, my songs are about 5 minutes long, so maybe that's why I haven't been published.
I got into the habit real early of writing 3-minute songs.
Sure.
Because that's what the
Industry standard.
industry standard
Sure.
is. I have some that are 2 minutes
Mhm.
and some that are 5 minutes, but most of them 2:30 to 3:30, right in there.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to do that. It just doesn't come. And so I had to go up to Nashville and learn from the guys that do it all the time.
Sure. I like the comment that you made about visualizing the video when you're writing a song. I learned that just a couple of years ago, but I did it purposely. I had written quite a few songs and played them on my guitar and got in the studio and recorded them and copyrighted them, etc. But I didn't really visualize a video with them. I just didn't until I sat down one day and I had this idea that I wanted to work on, but I thought, I'm going to try to really write something commercial. I'm going to try to stay away from I Love You, because there are so many I Love You songs out there, right?
Way too many.
Exactly. And of course, love is the best thing in the world, but I just wanted to stay away from that theme. But I wanted to write something that could be commercial and also paint a picture well enough that you can imagine that video, that you could see it, And I wrote the song called In Love Again Tonight. So I couldn't get away from the love angle. But it's a country two-step. It's up-tempo. It tells a really great story, and I'm really proud of that particular song. And you can find that at Reverb Nation /Al Alvarez, by the way. Where do you have a lot of your work up at, Bob?
A lot of it is hidden away in
In the vault.
I have probably 50 or 60 songs that I'm not allowed to play
Okay.
because of licensing issues.
Sure.
Things like that. Songs, the 5 releases that I have of other people playing my music,
Mm-hmm.
I'm technically not supposed to release them on my own.
Right. That was a contract.
That was in the contract.
Yeah, sure.
Well, people like them, so I'm going to play them.
They're your songs.
That are my songs.
Yeah.
If they want to sue me for the $10 a month I make off of them, that's fine.
Now, Rob, do you have a musical background at all?
No,
You don't?
none. I
Okay.
love music, but I definitely am not talented in that arena.
Yeah. My when I was a kid, my dad he had his own specific kind of music he liked, and I grew up in California, and I would hear Herb Alpert, the Tijuana Brass, just a lot of brass, and I always wanted to play the trumpet, so I was in the LA school systems, and in the 3rd grade you can go out for orchestra. So I went out and I wanted to play the trumpet, and I was a tall, skinny kid. I was always the tallest kid in the class, and I'll never forget Miss Beltran. Miss Beltran looked at me and said, "Come here, can you hold up this bass?" And I played the stand-up bass until I was in 11th grade in school. And then of course, when I got into the 9th grade, started playing with bands, and then I went into service and I picked the acoustic guitar, and I never touched the bass again. So I've always been with the guitar. But music's a beautiful thing, and it also is a big part of the emotion within a film. Okay, have you tell us a little bit about what you know about that?
Well, I'll say that without a proper soundtrack, without proper sound design, it's the difference between something that's garbage and something that's good.
Sure.
The visuals are extremely important, but the visuals are placed there to tell a story, and the music sort of brings out those emotions. with the little sound design with the zips and the clashes of the cymbals or whatever
Sure.
it may be. But it's I mean, again, going back to Star Wars. Star Wars wouldn't have been Star Wars
He loves Star
without
Wars.
absolutely. My whole generation does, I think, or at least us
I'm your
crazy
father.
crazy filmmakers. But
I
but
still
Star
watch it.
Wars without John Williams wouldn't have been Star Wars.
Who's John Williams?
Yeah.
Oh, I know John Williams. He scored that. Let me ask. I do not know the answer to this, so maybe you do. But beside the soundtrack, there's also Foley, right? What they call Foley, which is the
Absolutely.
the scraping of the feet, somebody walking on gravel, someone walking on sand, and the difference between that sound. Someone running down the street or running in the rain. That's all Foley. It's the audible side of film, So when somebody is sitting down to score a film, does it already have the Foley in it, and they're working around that other art form?
Not necessarily. I would say that for the most part, you've got your picture lock,
Right.
and so your score is really the most essential thing that's going to go on top of your picture lock first, and then at least personally, then I go into the sound design after that, because again, the music is so important. Not that the sound design isn't, because it is very, very important. But that music, you want to make sure that you get the right, and you could speak better music language than I can, but the right crescendos and that kind of thing,
Sure.
where you're really, really hitting it. And then also, if you really need to make a change in the picture, or, usually with a really talented composer, I mean, they'll take whatever you have and elevate it, because movies are nothing without the music.
Absolutely. Now, I understand you brought a clip for us to watch tonight.
Brought a couple clips. I directed a commercial for Gasparilla a couple of years ago. It was
Okay.
kind of a fun commercial. It really never made it quite to the air.
Right.
It's a little offbeat, but I loved it.
Well,
and we had a lot of fun. We had some great people on the set.
You think we had to watch this, Bob?
Yes, because I can't understand why anything Gasparilla, how could it be any more offbeat?
Oh, we're talking about the Gasparilla Film Festival.
Film festival.
Oh.
Oh,
Gasparilla, the whole,
yeah, the
it's a little weird.
It is
the
definitely.
private deal. Yeah, but anyway, so why don't we go ahead and show that clip? And you've already introduced it, so we'll look forward to seeing some of your work. And
Yeah, it's just a commercial, and then the other two clips are a couple movies that I've done.
well, we've got our production technician, Chris Wiles, and he's running the show out there. So, Chris, give us a 3 countdown and let us know when you're ready to shoot that. Here we go.
My boys tell me you've got a big operation over at Channelside. Not in my city. Not without me.
You can't stop it. It's Tampa's biggest film festival. There's red carpet parties and celebrities and premieres for movies from all over the world, including mine.
When's this going down?
February 26th at the Tampa Theater.
Yo, I got this idea for a movie.
That was
Yeah.
pretty cool and a little offbeat.
Good, nice job.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Gasparilla Film Festival, as long as we're on the subject?
Sure. Well, we're in our 8th year this year, and it really has grown into something really quite magical. We have an amazing board of directors that just give it their all, and we have just a core group of people who have been with the festival all these years, and we all just pitch in for the love of it, and we've had some great actors coming through, and we'll definitely have some big people we can't announce yet.
Yeah, okay.
But we're going to have some outstanding films this year, and we're in year number 8, so it just keeps on getting better and better, and hopefully by year 10 we'll be maybe getting into the Academy eligibility kind of stuff. But
Fantastic.
it's
I'll be involved in a project this year that may be eligible for next year's film festival, so
Cool.
I'll look forward to that. And of course, I've I've attended for the last 2 years and really enjoyed it, and I've got the pictures of celebrities to prove it. And it's just a great experience. There are some other film festivals around the city at various parts. As a matter of fact, Ian Stevens and Matt Ayat from 1-2 Punch Productions just kicked off an expo
Correct.
last year,
Yep.
and I think it's coming up in August. Is that it?
I think it's coming up in August. I actually saw Ian today. He was actually here earlier, and it looks like they're going to have a very nice lineup, and some of the same people that were there last year.
Yeah.
Including like David Yates and those
Yeah.
types.
They had
And-
they had some great panels, and the speakers were just. I mean, I learned a lot, and then I got to meet with them in the lobby, exchange cards. They're just super people,
True.
you know. And they're the ones that are sitting behind the desks in Hollywood and saying yes and saying no, you know. So it's really nice to be able, and you know, as well as the film festivals. Those are the type of people that you get to meet as well. You know, I meet a lot of production people, actors, but I also meet a lot of fans, just people that want to see the independent films. You know, they're not involved in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's fantastic. I really like that there's a fan base out there, you know. So, you know, there's Sunscreen, there's the Expo. I know that Bollywood was going to do a big thing here, but they've got a one-day event at Raymond James this year.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal for yeah. I'm also a member of the Sunscreen Film Society, which is kind of a new organization that's under the umbrella, if you will, of Sunscreen Film Festival. So, you know, we're working in various areas to really get people involved, as well as you and Ian and Matt and people like that. So, you know, for right now, I'd kind of like to mention something. It's kind of close to all of our hearts, I think. This week we had the passing of someone who's been a major part of the film industry, as he's actually won an Academy Award, a couple of Tonys. He's been in multiple films, and his name is Philip Seymour Hoffman. He passed at the age of 44, and we would like to send out our condolences to his family and friends and all the fans out there. Again, he did win an Academy Award for his portrayal of Capote. He's been in such films as The Scent of a Woman, Boogie Nights, one of my favorite films, The Big Lebowski, Magnolia, The Talented Mr. Ripley, and again, one of my favorites, Almost Famous. And any film that has to do with music, I just love. You know, the list goes on and on. We lost him too soon. No matter what caused it, it could have been a car wreck. It could have been, he could have been skiing. You know, it really doesn't matter how he passed, but that he's remembered with affection and with respect. So, Mr. Philip Seymour Hoffman, God bless you, and rest in peace, brother. All right. Well, having said that, have a couple other public announcements to make. We've got a couple of really nice theaters here on North Dale Mabry in Tampa. We have the Bellagio Theater, and I've worked with them a little bit, putting a commercial together. And they've got some great dining. They've got drinks. They've got a fantastic theater. They've got a few theaters where they have the leather seats and you can recline, and they serve you right there. And it's pretty nice. It's really a nice theater. I just want to give them a shout out. We also have the Tampa Picture Show. The Tampa Picture Show has been around for over 30 years. And a lot of folks don't realize this, but as of January the 1st, 35 millimeter film will no longer be distributed to theaters anywhere. So unless you are set up for digital media, you're out of business. The Tampa Picture Show they've been a community partner for 30 years. They've supported independent artists, whether it's a band, or they've had independent film showing there, they've had stage shows. They've always been there for the independent community. So we'd like to send a shout out to them, to Wayne over there at the Tampa Picture Show. They really need your business, so please stop in there. You can have something really good to eat. They've got a great menu. Have a cocktail, have lemonade, whatever you like. And they also have a Kickstarter campaign. So if you go to Kickstarter.com and just put in the Tampa Picture Show. If you can donate a few bucks here and there, it would really be appreciated so that they can transfer their video program over to digital media. So, Wayne, we wish you the best, and we'll do what we can to help, okay? So, Bob, I know, or you've told me, that you've got a couple of songs or a song or two coming up in a film.
Pieces of songs,
Okay.
actual songs that I had written, and somebody asked me one day, they said, would you mind if we don't use the words? And we just want the music as a background. I said, I don't have a problem with that.
Sure.
You know, I was the sole writer on them, so I could make the decision, publishing rights and everything. And as a videographer, kind of like yourself, but he's starting up in Nashville. He started out as part of a video crew doing video shoots for bands, and he's trying to break into that. And he started this thing, instead of behind the scenes, he called it behind the song. And he was
very cool.
Going around and interviewing a lot of the writers that were staff writers and a few of the people that were just coming into town, talk to them about their process and what each and every one of us goes through. One of the most successful writers, if you know of Toonsmith or heard of them,
Sure.
C.J. Watson.
Mm-hmm.
He has a song called "Living in His Coupe de Ville." And we all did that at one point in time.
Sure.
It seems, whether mine was a Plymouth Voyager, but, and he took all these pieces and he said, well, how do we? And he talks about taking the bass part of the song and doing the sound design to put it into where it flows into the next scene, and then it fades out and fades in, and it's
Sure.
all those little things. I think he used 18 seconds of one and 28 seconds of another. It was just my guitar work
Okay. So, can you tell us the name of the film?
behind the song.
Oh, Behind the Song. Okay, I'm sorry. I missed that.
And I am still waiting for him to contact me. When you contacted me about doing this,
yeah.
I sent him an email. I still haven't heard back from him yet.
So, you haven't gotten your check?
No, I don't expect one.
Well, guess what? It's in the mail, buddy.
Yeah.
As far as songwriting goes, on the intro to our show, Behind the Scenes, you'll hear a soundtrack, and that's one of my songs. It's called Every Step of the Way, and you can find that at Reverb Nation /Al Alvarez, by the way. It's a little self-promotion, but and you can just listen to the songs. I'm not trying to sell them at this point, but it's a very upbeat, motivational song, and that's the intro. I have one other song called Mama Said, and that's actually on a film in its entirety. There's a young lady in our community by the name of Renelle Golden, and she's just a fantastic screenwriter, storyteller. She's written a few books. Her daughter's a great musician and songwriter, and she has written and produced and directed a few films, independent films. I was in a short called Dingo and Ringo, which were about two brothers that were kind of clumsy conmen, if you will, and I played Unlucky Bob, who's their kind of unwilling sidekick. But she actually wanted somebody to write a song, for the plot of the movie, and I presented this to her, and thank God she liked it because it's on the soundtrack. So I guess I am published, so that's pretty cool. I just noticed we have another guest with us this evening, and I noticed through our studio viewing glass here that he's just showed up. They're going to mic him, and we're going to bring him in, and we're going to adjust the camera. It's Ken Anthony. He's a local actor, and he's an illustrator. So we'll, just in a few seconds, he's going to be making his way in here. So Rob, what's next?
Oh, good question. Just right now putting together a short film,
Okay.
and we have been casting, and we're really taking our time with it.
You've been casting a short film?
Yes.
Okay. See,
I-
first I heard about it. Here we go again.
So if I had a part in there for you, then
You don't have a part for a tall, ugly guy with a mustache?
I talked to the writer about it, and she just so it's a really it's a fantastic, very clever script. We've started to assemble a really dynamite cast and started to talk to all the people that are necessary to make everything happen as far as studios and cameras and grip and electric and craft service, all and so we're looking to shoot probably right before the Gasparilla Film Festival.
Oh, great. Okay.
And it's called Side With Me,
Okay.
and it is definitely going to be something something pretty cool.
Is it a love story?
It is definitely not a love story. Essentially, it's a psychological thriller.
Oh, I love those. Oh, I
Yes.
love them. Yeah.
It is. It's a head trip, kind of the whole way
Yeah.
through.
Well, thanks for that. If you've noticed out there in Podland, we just Mr. Ken Anthony II has joined us. I guess you're stuck in rush hour, huh?
Rush hour, construction by my apartment, everything.
Yeah. Excuse my reach there, but it's
No
good to
worries.
see you. It's good to see you. So I know that you just a few months ago you started with IADT, International Academy of Design Technology, right?
No, I work at Everest.
Oh, well, IADT is a great place as well. No, it's Matt Ayad who's working at IADT.
Exactly.
That's right. So you're doing intake at Everest College, right?
For student finance, yeah. Mhm.
Financing. Okay, fantastic, man. So what are you doing as far as film's concerned? Do you have any projects coming up?
I'm working on putting together a web series based off of a short film I did for the Action Film Challenge in 2011, Survival Instinct. So there's going to be a web series of the opposition against vampires, basically. So I'm working on putting that together, getting ready to work with Rusty Parrish on a project he's putting together called Underground. Working on putting together a feature and a couple other things for later in the year. And, of course, the Action Film Challenge this year. So quite a few things I'm building towards.
Well, that's fantastic. I know that you're always busy. You're always doing something. Now, I know that you're involved with comic books as well. I'm sorry, what are we calling them?
No, I call them comic books, the original name. The people who don't want to claim comic books say graphic novel.
That's right, a graphic novel, yeah. But the comic book, you're an illustrator, right?
A writer and illustrator, yes. Mhm.
Okay,
So
great.
I've been doing that most of my life, so that's my first love.
Okay. So what kind of storylines do we have there?
Well, it's Artistic License Studio,
Okay.
and pretty much everything, honestly. We have an anthology called Predatory Ways.
Okay.
It's more of a vampire-based anthology. Then Solo Shots is pretty much any kind of idea. It's another anthology. So it's everything from superheroes to sci-fi to, I don't know, little kid walking down the street and something funny happens to him. Anything to fit into that particular format.
Sure.
Then each individual creator in the studio has the option of producing their own books.
Right.
So we have a member named Jeremy Landry in California who's working on putting together his first book. I'm writing a web series, a web comic book series. Sorry about that. Named Futuro Tierra with another member of the studio named Tony Lorenz. And Tony also worked with another member of the studio named EJ on a story of his. Getting ready to write another weekly web comic called Sniper. I'm kind of coordinating that with the artists on that right now. So I'm staying kind of busy. The studio does a lot, and then of course it's the producing the films and everything too.
Now, you mentioned studio and the group. I mean, is this a production company that you're working with, or a group of writers, or a consortium? I mean, how does this work?
It's basically a consortium of a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I'm a writer and artist, so a lot of people in the studio kind of do dual duties, or even more so. Like one of the guys in the studio, Adonis, he's an artist and a writer, but he also does some coloring as well.
Right.
EJ handles a lot of our technical stuff as far as websites and stuff, but he's also a writer. So
Okay.
it just depends on which member as far as what they can actually complete.
So would this be an open forum, so to speak, for someone that's interested in getting involved in this type of media?
Well, my biggest thing as the founder of it is really just on top of everything else, is just if I find somebody who's passionate about doing it, because
Right.
it's all about creating a unified front to move forward. So if somebody's passionate about doing it and they show me that their passion translates to actual work getting done, not just, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Great, what are you going to do with it? I have an idea. Yeah, we're not ready to work with you.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
But if it's somebody I see that's ready to do the artwork, ready to actually put the time in, ready, and they can meet deadlines, then definitely it's a place they can come to.
That's fantastic. Now, is there a site anywhere that someone can see your particular work?
Well, my website is I have to remember myself. Whoisanthony.tripod.com. So they can go there to catch up on my acting, artwork, you name it, pretty much is there.
Who is Anthony?
.tripod.com.
Okay, great.
And then for the studio, there's a tripod site. Our main site is under reconstruction right now. But our tripod site is Artistic License Studio because there wasn't enough space to put the I on there. .tripod.com. And I'm going to update that from tomorrow. But that's you can get links to our Facebook, Twitter, films, all of that's on there too.
That's great. You know, when you said tripod, the first thing that crossed my mind was War of the Worlds. With
the aliens, I forgot.
With Tom Cruise. And, that was a good film. When I first heard about it, I thought, that's not going to work with Tom Cruise. But that's me not having the vision. Just like when I saw Leonardo DiCaprio being cast as Howard Hughes. And I thought, that's not going to work.
But he did a great job. Yeah,
wow.
I agree.
Amazing job. It's fantastic, And these guys are just, he just did Wall Street, man. I mean,
I haven't seen that one yet, Wolf of Wall Street. I haven't seen it. Is it good?
No, I haven't seen it either, but Jonah Hill, who's been coming up very quickly, and there's a big buzz about him. He, from what I understand, he's like up for supporting actor or something.
Well, I read, sorry to interrupt, but I read that he wanted to be a part of the project so much he actually took cut and pay just so he could be a part of that project.
I heard it was like he worked for like $60,000 because he wanted to work with Scorsese.
Exactly. Yeah.
Man, that's just phenomenal. So, who have you worked with? Who are some of the biggest names that you've worked with?
Well, I'd say my biggest favorite name was Danny DeVito.
Oh, okay.
I worked with him on a movie called Nobel's Son. And it was great film with like Alan Rickman and just an all-star cast from the director of Throw Mama from the Train.
Right.
And so Danny, the first day he drives up in his Prius and he doesn't say anything to anybody. And of course, it's Danny DeVito.
Sure.
You really are hoping to God that this guy's really cool,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't say anything to anybody. So he leaves, comes back the next day and goes in and then goes out to craft service and just starts going around the crew, introducing himself, telling jokes, just being the great guy that he is.
That's
and
fantastic.
it was a fabulous movie. Bill Pullman was on that. He's a fabulous guy. I've been lucky and fortunate to worked with Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate to work with a lot of people. I haven't worked with Tom Cruise yet.
Well, that's coming, man.
It's for the sequel, the War of the Worlds sequel. That's when that's going to happen.
That's right. That's right. And you're going to be a tripod. There you go. You're going to be the guy up there pulling the levers. So Bob, being in Nashville, I mean, I'm sure you've rubbed some elbows.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I've been on Willie's bus.
Oh, really?
That's cool.
Was Wes driving it? Wes Whammer?
There was nobody driving it.
Oh, you're just on the bus.
I was just sitting still.
I'm not even going to ask what you're doing on Willie Nelson's bus. Okay? But now, did you have a video that you brought or that we had access to?
Yes.
Okay.
It's me playing over the little French New Orleans style cafe in Safety Harbor, in a song I wrote while I was sitting there during a rainstorm.
Huh.
Train went by and I got an idea in my head, and 20 minutes later there was a song.
Fantastic. So, Chris, do we have that ready to go? He's amazing. Chris Weil is our technical producer, and can we get a 3 countdown? 2, 1, here we go.
And she didn't write any of that down. Somewhere down that road, you're gonna meet a man that you think you know. Still running, still hiding from what you may never know. Let him out on his old boots. I've been torn. But we'll get him to the next town, to another honky tonk. We can sit and play his songs for you. It's the music that he loves. Love to hear that on jukebox, play the songs about his life. Listen to little man's stories before they go home to their wives. Living his life in a glass of beer, talking about his dreams. He can dream about who he wants to be, where he fits in life's grand scheme. Just get him to the next town, to another honky tonk. We can sit and play his songs to you. It's the music that he loves. When those honky tonks roll the streets downtown, it's the only life he's ever known. There's one thing.
Actually, Everest is with something like that too, though. So yeah.
All right, Bob Lever. Hey, Bob, was that the song we were talking about?
No,
It was still.
that was a different one. But that's one of mine. That was one of the first cuts in Nashville.
Okay.
That another band picked up. They liked the song. They rocked it up quite a bit. But they said, "Who was that about?" And I just said me. It was kind of like a self-port of a musical gypsy, which that's me. I've been a gypsy most of my life. Lived a lot of different places, and I've had more fun than most people dream about.
That's a good thing, though.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think we just lost part of our table, but
Yes, we did.
that's okay. We're not going anywhere. We're going to stay right here with Behind the Scenes. We're going to talk to you again and see another clip. You have another clip, right?
Yes.
Okay. In just a while, I'd like to talk with everyone about the rally and tally. Okay. One of the big things that is going on here in Florida, in various states, is that there are tax incentives to help bring the big studios to Florida, to North Carolina, to Louisiana. There are various states that offer tax incentives to bring the films to that particular state. For instance, Dolphin Tale. Okay, now we've got Dolphin Tale 2 that has been in production here for, well, I think Dolphin Tale, the first Dolphin Tale, I've got some information here. They worked over 45 days production, or 55 production days in 2010. Dolphin Tale pumped nearly $17 million into the state coffers. $17 million, including paychecks totaling slightly more than $7.5 million for nearly 1,300 Floridians. So this is good information. This is why it's important that we have tax incentives available for not only the big studios, but for the homegrown films that our independent filmmakers are making right here in Florida. As long as the film is produced and shot, at least 70% of the film is shot here in the state, you can qualify for these tax incentives. Unfortunately, there's not enough money. They're not allocating, the state isn't allocating enough money to bring in more business, to help the local filmmakers. So what's happening is there's a rally and tally on the 25th and the 26th up in Tallahassee, and it's not just for filmmakers, but anyone that has budgetary concerns, for instance, the public school systems, the nurses union, things of this nature. You can go up to Tallahassee and speak to your representatives, and this is what it's for. It's kind of an open door deal. So find people in your local community. You can find more information about this, the rally and tally for the film industry at filmflorida.com. Filmflorida.com. Okay? So we really need your support, whether you're in the industry or a fan or what have you. So please take a look at that, and you'd be helping us quite a bit, as well as a lot of your neighbors who are making their living by working on these films, whether they're independent, union films, studio films, or what have you. Let's see.
Can I speak to that?
Yes, you can, and I wish you would.
Yeah, no, I think it's extremely essential for the Rally and Tally to be successful. Dolphin Tale has brought in over $3 billion into the Clearwater economy so far.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
$3 billion.
So,
So the reality is there's a whole economy behind the movie industry.
sure.
Whether it be the Glades in Miami or Dolphin Tale up here. The thing is Hollywood knows this. That's why Hollywood is spelled out in the hills. When
Well, it used to be Hollywood Land.
right,
So, yeah.
exactly. So yeah, it was just a real estate development. Then
Yeah.
it became iconic, and the same thing with Florida. You've got all these pictures that were coming in. We started seeing a success with the incentives, and they ran out of money.
Right.
And instead of having a sustainable model, they had to start turning away all these big
Exactly.
pictures, small pictures, and everything in between. And we really, really need our representatives to
Sure.
absolutely. This is a business that can grow exponentially.
Yep.
Florida used to be number 3 in the country, and now we're
Not even in the top 10.
we can't even get Disney to shoot in our backyard.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
they're in our backyard.
As a matter of fact, I read somewhere where
I didn't know about that.
the executives of Disney Studios were saying that they have a directive not to shoot in a state that does not offer a tax incentive.
It's
And
financially
they
irresponsible.
they have Disney Studios here, and they won't even shoot in the state of Florida. So please, the Rally and Tally is just so important. And remember also, I mean, it's just not supporting the independent film community, but when these studios come in, or a local company has a big production that's financed, it trickles down to the local restaurants, the local hotels, the local tailors. I mean, it's just a phenomenal effect, you know. So it's just really great for our economy. Also, I mean, we're based on tourism, but this can really help to subsidize that as well, and help our small shop owners, whether it's a cobbler or a restaurant, you know, an independently owned restaurant. So, Rally and Tally, 25th and 26th. We'll leave it there. So, Bob, how do you get from music to a film? I mean, what's the process there?
The first thing I ask is, let me read the script.
Okay.
What's the story?
Yeah.
Totally.
Get with the writer, get with the director, find out what their ideas are, and see if your ideas match them. If they don't, move on.
It's not going to work. Sure.
Pass it on to another musician like yourself. I feel very blessed as locally I'm involved in a musicians co-op. We have over 100 members
Okay.
of what kind of musician would you like? Jazz pianists, jazz guitar players, classical. If I don't know, if I wouldn't fit with something,
Probably know
somebody that
who
probably
does.
does.
Exactly.
Sure,
Local.
absolutely. Yeah.
If we're gonna we're talking local film, but then you sit down and you present a few ideas. Like I would play a few chord progressions and say, does this kind of fit the mood that you're looking for? And then I can proceed from there and write a score.
Sure.
Like John Williams, he was mentioned
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
I've always loved his music. Music is the first thing, it gets your attention. And then you look at the screen. Prime example, 2 notes. Dum, dum. Everybody knows what it is
Exactly. Yeah.
with 2 notes.
Pinocchio, right?
Yeah. You know, and that's the type of impact you want the music to
Sure.
make for any film. It's like, all right, what is that? And to get their
Yeah.
attention.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's memorable.
Yeah.
It's kind of like jingles. I mean, I can at least whistle jingles from the 1960s, you know, if not prior. But that's showing my age. But now you're also a musician, aren't you, Ken?
I used to play the drums, yeah. So
Okay.
I do more singing and songwriting now, but I used to do a lot of music back in the day with my family.
Okay, so are you producing any music now, or
Actually, my cousin produces. I pretty much cousin is a producer / rapper.
okay,
Named G Nasty. So I'll catch up with him, see what beats I like, and then I'll start writing something to that, and then go in the studio, record myself. Usually he'll be like, "Just your cousin, your family going to do it." So I just record myself and sing
Right,
it, and
right.
I'm gonna mix it down later. So
Cool.
yeah, I still deal with the music.
did you get a chance to get any videos for us, or do we have links to?
Unfortunately, not.
No? Oh,
If you
okay.
have me back on in the future, I will have videos.
Okay,
the whole
well,
time.
well, we're definitely going to have you back on. You had another clip.
Yes.
Why don't we take a look at that?
Sure. This would be Immortal Island, and it's a trailer for
Okay.
a film that we shot here in Florida. Pretty much a low-budget indie feature. We did actually take advantage of some of the incentive,
Fantastic.
which was wonderful. And it's very much a fun kind of spring break thriller. It was originally designed as a horror film, and it kind of falls into a horror thriller, I guess.
That must have been fun.
With a little
spring
cop
break.
drama.
Yeah, horror film.
Yes.
Yeah, I can picture it now.
Just the driving's horror.
Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Who's the girl? Found her on a small yacht about a mile off the coast.
Where do you want to go?
There's an island southwest here.
Well, then we're in business.
Do you want to tell me what happened? Girl saw something I don't particularly want to know about.
Caitlin, there are good people in this world and there are bad people.
Nice music, huh?
Is it over? Well, you know what? Okay, so you did it. You did the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
You shot the feature.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was the process behind? Okay, did you write the script?
No.
Okay, so somebody presented a script to you that you liked.
Actually, the screenwriter is a really good friend of mine, and so
Okay.
we had been talking about making a movie and just had an idea about, this is before I actually moved to Florida,
Okay.
about a Florida movie. And so it kind of evolved into that. We actually had two separate shoots. It is definitely a tale of independent film.
Okay.
Where we had two separate shoots. The film was originally designed as a very low-budget horror film.
Mhm.
And as the marketplace changed, so did the film. And so we actually went back and did reshoots. We put in an entirely different layer on top for the marketability and basically just to make a really good product.
Okay. So now the trailer itself, was it used for fundraising?
The trailer has actually just been used for sales. So
Okay. All right.
we went to, we've been going to the American Film Market,
Mhm.
Berlin, Cannes, all that stuff.
So it's not distributed yet?
We have an international agent that works
Okay.
with us,
Right, right.
Fairway Films. And so, he's basically, he sold some territories, and
Okay.
at the end of the day, we're still looking for a video on demand deal and possibly do something on iTunes.
And what's again, the name of the film is?
Immortal Island.
Immortal Island. So if
Immortal
someone went to YouTube,
Yes,
they can see the trailer.
absolutely.
I'm gonna go
or
home. I'm gonna go-
IMDb or pretty much
Sure,
anywhere. Yeah.
sure, great. Bob, did you have another video?
No,
Okay, that's okay. What?
he's saying
Oh, Chris, our producer, our tech producer, is saying no. What is next for Ken Anthony?
Well, just working towards progressing in my craft. You know, I love acting, so I'm working on that. I love writing. Actually, been doing more writing lately. Like I said, working on the features, No Man's Verdict, the web comics, the web series, the short for the Action Film Challenge. Keeping the comic books coming out. You know, trying to hit some conventions with that. And I'm going to release a mixtape sometime this year. It's going to be called Facets of a Man. So I have to get some more music done for that too. So just staying busy, trying to make sure I'm productive.
Good for you. That's fantastic. You know, we've only had a chance to work on together very minimally, but I'd really love to get into get involved with something where we both have a good role in a film. You know, so you know, all you producers, directors, casting agents. I mean, Ken and I would do a great job for you. I mean, you know, just have us in. We'll read for you, and we'll pay you off if we have to. But
but it's off of Rob's budget, not mine.
Yeah, that's right, Rob.
We'll work for food.
There you go. There you go. Let's see. So I guess I should tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Armand Alvarez. I go by Al, and I was executive vice president of organization, independent film organization here in town, which has recently rolled over into under the Sunscreen umbrella called the Sunscreen Film Society, and I'm the executive vice president of that particular board of directors. Back in 1985, I was living in Los Angeles, and I had the opportunity to work security for the studios that were going out into the rougher areas of the Los Angeles area. I got to work security, and it sounds kind of glamorous, but it's basically making sure that no one steals the equipment or damages things, or you know, it's security. It's security for the movie set. Sometimes when you've been there for quite some time, they may attach you to one of the principals or of the film to basically to watch your back. But I worked in set security for probably about 4 years, and I got to work on films like Boys in the Hood. I got to work on American Me with Edward James Olmos. There was a 3-part miniseries for NBC called Drug Wars, the Camarena story. It was about a DEA agent who had been found dead in Mexico, and it's kind of a gruesome story. But I got to play a prison guard in that, and that was with I'll drop some names. That was with Craig T. Nelson, Treat Williams, Benicio del Toro, and Miguel Ferrer. So I've got to be around these guys somewhat, and what's more importantly, and this is advice that I would give to anyone who is getting their feet wet. If you have a chance to work on any professional set, whether it's an indie set or it's a big studio set, learn, pay attention to what's going on, and behave. So, I mean, you know, these producers and these casting agents are looking for people that they can trust on the set. They're going to get used to seeing your name. They're going to get used to seeing your headshot. And if you're excuse the term, but if you're a pain in the ass, you're not getting asked back. So learn what's going on in the set. Pay attention to how the crew works, and especially what's expected of you. You know, if you're asked to do something, do it. Don't bother them trying to get a bigger role. If they feel that you're right for it, they're going to ask you to do it. Okay. So, are there any hints you can give to somebody getting
really what you said is the main thing.
Yeah.
If you get there, be professional
Yeah.
and be courteous, because networking is a lot of it.
Yeah.
But if you get on the set and they're like, okay, well, you can't do the bare minimum of what we ask you to do,
Yeah.
how can we suggest you to someone else for another project?
Sure. Or you're disruptive, or sure.
Exactly, yeah. So just make sure you introduce yourself, you're courteous, you're professional on the set, and you give 110%, not just 100%. And they'll ask you back for other things, or they'll
Sure.
remember you from one project, say, I think I have something bigger for you now, or better for you now. So that's the biggest thing.
Sure.
Just stay busy and make sure your IMDb credits get up so that they'll see that you're
That's
working.
right. That's right. And IMDb is international movie database. and for instance, if you wanted to look up Ken Anthony, just go to IMDb, Ken Anthony, and all of his credits would come up under that link, as well as mine, as well as any of our guests right here at Behind the Scenes. we're looking for great things to come here. We really are. After Raleigh and Tally, hopefully that'll push some of the legislatures into allotting a lot more money. And I think that the last budget was $238 million. If I'm not mistaken, I was reading that today.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was for a 6-year span, and I think within the first 18 months it was gone.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was basically accounted for, and what happens is it's basically you're approved for your project. They put that money aside for you, and if your project doesn't come to fruition, that money's put back in the kitty, but there's always somebody next in line.
Mm-hmm.
So so it may sound like a lot of money, but when films like Dolphin Tale are generating that much money into the local economy, we had Magic Mike here not long ago. We had
Spring Breakers.
Spring Breakers. We had
Parker.
and I'll tell you what we're really hoping for is that you bring your films. Independent films, studio films to Tampa Bay. We have everything that you want right here in Tampa Bay. A lot of the films are going out to Miami, and that's fine, but they should be coming here to Tampa because we've got the coastlines, we've got everything that you want, and the weather's beautiful. Okay?
Great people, great crews.
That's right, and we have a lot of
And
trained
great actors.
professional people.
Yeah, exactly.
But listen, we're running out of time. I really want to thank my guest, Ken Anthony. Thank you so much. Ken
for
Anthony
having
the
me.
second.
Exactly.
That's right. Mr. Rob Sterrett, our special guest, Bob Lever. We're going to have you play a live song. So why don't you play us out here, Bob?
Awesome.
Okay? Hopefully we have at least a couple minutes to give you here. Need anything?
Nope.
Okay. What's the name of this?
Yeah.
Ask me a thing. Damn it, Al.
Sunsets in the West Texas sky, leaving me a pale gray light so I can barely see the white caps on that New Mexico horizon, calling me back to the arms, daughter of the Navajo sun, so she can hold this cowboy just one more time. Her eyes were wild, her laughter crazy, on a horse that she called lazy, trailed by her long black hair as they moved across the mesa. Caught her eye, she turned to see, out of curiosity, this lonesome drifter here by the fire. We laughed, we talked, we fell in love, we held on till that sun came up. We both knew we'd have to ride our own separate ways. Spoke about the Rio Grande, the peaks of Gunnison, tried to lure her away. We both knew I couldn't stay in the land of the Navajo sun. Vanished in that mountain's mist, left me here with my emptiness, watching my first true love just ride into my memories. And I knew I never should have let her go. We laughed, we talked, we fell in love, we held on till that sun came up. We both knew we'd have to ride our own separate ways. Spoke about the Rio Grande, the peaks of Gunnison, tried to lure her away. We both knew I couldn't stay in the land of the Navajo sun. In the land of the Navajo sun.
Mr. Bob Lever. Thank you, Bob. That was beautiful.
Thank you. It was called Navajo Sun, by the way.
This is Al Alvarez. Thank you, my guest, once again. And thank you so much, Chris, for taking care of us on Technical End. This is Behind the Scenes, and you can find us every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night. That's a wrap, guys.